A lot of these things I do for my own mental health. From where I came from, I really believe I've already won. My mom was manic depressed, schizophrenic. I don't know what state she's in today. I haven't talked to her in over 20 something years. Just had a conversation with my uncle who was concerned about it. And I said, Uncle, from what my mother went through in her life, she's entitled to relax a little bit. Years ago, when my mother, before my mother had me, she suffered many atrocities that I'm not going to go into. It's her life. I'm an extremely transparent person when it comes to me, but my mother has been through quite a few things, and she deserves not only to be honored, but to take the time to heal for the rest of her life, the stuff that she went through. My mother was one generation from slavery, but she was there to take care of all my aunts and uncles' kids. Strike that, more so my aunts' kids. Her big sisters, because she was the baby. While they went out and picked cotton, cleaned houses in the deep south of Mississippi. These were troubling times. And my mother, unfortunately, had the curse of being very pretty and being a country girl. And what I mean by that, being a very simple, take you for your word type person. And so when she went to the big city, pretty, tall, with her country girl attitude, it was very challenging for her. So I, along with my cousins who may or may not say this, have suffered from and seen mental illness from a very real standpoint. For me, I've chosen to deal with it by studying the Word of God. And being very transparent about my propensity for mental illness. That I had to work at it. A lot of things I still don't understand, and I'm constantly wanting to grow, as specifically as I deal with my community, the one we call the African American community. I personally think there's a lot of mental illness unchecked because people really don't understand the extent of the purpose of community and the ill effects of those who don't recognize community. Not to the level that they're comfortable with, but the level that other people are comfortable with. So we do ourselves a disservice. I don't think the disservice has much to do with racism, which I don't necessarily believe in that. But we can get into that another day. I think it has more to do with bad education over the years coming from economics and wanting to control people groups. I think a great book to read is Capitalism and Slavery. I believe the author's name is Eric Williams. But what you do is you depress an economic class of people group. You depress them and you keep them from their past, or you keep them from their history. You teach them how to be slaves or employees, and you don't give them the technology to be owners. And I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but our mental health and our spiritual health are tied together. And if you're unfamiliar with the purpose of this life, which goes far beyond ingratiating yourself, which has been taught to the black people, quote unquote black people, descendants of American slaves is the way I would put it. You've been taught to ingratiate yourself at all costs to the community. You know, the capitalism system. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a capitalist. But the idea is you think keeping the information flowing to a certain group of people and taking advantage of another group of people is good mental health. I say it's bad mental health. But these are the systems that have been taught us. So my life's work is about improving the health mentally and spiritually. And who am I to do it? I think the easiest answer to that is when I consult with people who allow me to help them tap into their spirituality and also their mental acuteness. They get healed. After all, isn't that what Christianity was supposed to be about? So I have a page on Patreon, patreon.com/the broadcast with PCD. I have two actually, but that's the one I'm highlighting today. Help me continue this work. Help me put out these videos that are helpful. If they're helpful to you, share these videos with other people on the YouTube page, Paul Dozier Media, or on the Patreon page. And if any of this information is helpful to you, please share it. And let's help some people. I'm looking for God to honor this because I was just listening to someone earlier today, yesterday, and so I want to do this. This would be an unusual video, but God blesses based upon intention. I like that, and I got from that what I am putting out is what I am getting back, and I got that from Oprah Winfrey. And I'm sure she got it from someone else. So I'm hoping to put this out because there are a lot of people suffering and they're dying and they're committing suicide. This isn't funny to me. It's happened in my family. And if someone doesn't take this seriously, not only will you lose a generation, you'll lose generations of people to mental health issues.